So here I am in the setup of Urban Sprawl. Now, I've taken the first round around the table, and I just want to explain some of the decisions that I made towards picking buildings here. Might help set the tone. I don't usually do this with games when I do setup, but somehow it feels right here. So, pink kind of, this is almost always the case where I make kind of uninformed decisions with my first few players and then better ones maybe with later ones, or at least more directed decisions. It'll give some of the strategy that the players are taking here. So, pink chose this location because it has the highest payout. It's the lowest cost for highest payout. Commercial seemed like a good idea. There's a lot of commercial buildings. He wants to kind of focus on that. What he didn't do was really look too carefully at his card. It's fine. It's got a commercial on it. There's commercial opportunities out here. So he's not too concerned with that. One thing that I notice immediately with the game, though, is there's no balance. For example, even in the starting position, there's a few houses, just as much commerce as there is houses. That feels unnatural to me. I could understand a significant amount of industry in an area where there's housing. You'd import people for the jobs or whatever, or vice versa, a significant amount of housing without a lot of jobs. What I don't understand terribly well in a starting town is there's just as many businesses in terms of total space as there is residential areas. That's kind of a weird feeling, but maybe we can try to imagine some reason for that. This is the fixed startup, though, for the game, so it's a little unnatural feeling to me. Anyway, on to the next player. Green put a little bit of thought in, actually. He's got purple, and what he looked at was there's a lot of purple on the board. No, the other player had gone for the yellow, same reasoning there, and also this was really cheap. This one he's going for the highest payout. He had to pay $7 to get that. This one he only had to pay $3. Now granted, it doesn't have a high payout. There's already a 1 card out. One of the reasons the 6 card was chosen was no 6s out. That means there's probably more 6s in the deck. Just this kind of thinking. Okay, on to the third player. And maybe some of the thinking for those players is actually better, but the third player paid more attention to his cards. He's got more of them. And he looked at these and said, you know, I'm really set up for commerce already in my build permits. I'm going to challenge pink for this. There's just as many commerces, actually more left, than there are anything else except residential, and I'm more set up for commerce. He went for kind of a balanced approach, 3 and 3, cost him $6. Then the white player said, nobody's going for the reds. Nobody's going for the blues either. But I've got a handful of red permits. I might as well have that. I'm thinking it's to my benefit to control buildings that are near each other. That may be mistaken, but that's kind of a thought that all my players have. So he went for, again, these are all of the civics. He had the choice, let me see. Somebody felt like they were forced into one amount. Anyway, he ended up paying $5. He could have paid $7 for a more valuable one, but he wanted that more mixed position. Anyway, I'm going to go and fill out the rest of them and come back and show you what people have picked. Okay, so the rest of the tiles have been laid out, and we see pink has continued and able to pick up 3 different commercial areas. It's almost out of money here. There's $2 left. There's not a lot of extra money to go around. Green spread out likewise, grabbed 3 purple areas. Now pink, well, green has $9 left. That's a decent amount. Pink might have gotten cut off and only had 2 of each had black challenged him there, but black went and said, you know, I'm going to go just for the industrial now. I see something cool there. You know, again, this focus though on what you're going to take. He's only got $2, so far green's in the lead for the media. And finally, white has only $5, so green's going to get the media. White managed to get all the civics, and he went out and got a residential because, even though it didn't fit his initial plan, it seems to me that owning things is better than not. So I believe green has the media for the rest of the game unless a card affects that. So now we go And somehow or another, you can get this extra favor, placed next to the player mat when you build a warehouse contract. I'm sure that's going to be marked on the warehouse. What it does is it allows you to have 2 cards for favor, which, so you could have 2 cards held within your hand at one time for the contracts without having to pay to build them. Let's think about what Pink wants to do. Pink looks at the board. Pink looks at their card. They've got a big build permit. They could only get $3 if they threw this in. They'd like money, though. They don't have a lot of money. What could they build with this thing? They have 6 action points to play with. They could take $3, and then they'd have to use their action points otherwise. Well, that's a 3-point card. They can do red, yellow, or blue. There is none of any of those. Is $3 worth taking? I don't know. Let's see what else we could. Let's see what we can do with our mighty $2, because we don't have a lot of cash here. What could I build with 2? Nothing. There's nowhere where the sum is 2. So if I don't sell that, I'm not going to build anything. So much as this looks like a neat card, a 3 building permit, I'm going to trade it and grab $3 because I can build something for $5. Now, I don't know if you pay, I believe it's per lot, which would be painful to build anything large anyway. So let's take a look. How much does it cost to build? Nope, you just have to pay the value of the block. You don't have to pay for the number of spaces you are. So I've got $5 I could spend in a 5 space. Let's see what I want to build. To me, I immediately start looking at these. These are what decides things. If one of these rows has an empty wealth or prestige, I can place a 7 there. Ooh, that's kind of cool because I could improve a wealth line that I'm already on. Now, I have kind of spread my pieces out and not worried about a line. And right now, everybody's kind of saying, ooh, that's kind of a bonus for black who's on a line. Maybe I want to take that away from him. That seems like a cool card. Another option is to grab this. That seems really cool to me. Somebody else gets to stop before black does. I'm not sure how valuable the 7 wealth is compared to having this thing. But, because this thing will trigger off some energy bonuses. I want to build the dam. I really do. The 7 wealth doesn't impress me as much. So I'm going to need 2 action points for this. That means I have 4 left to spend. I don't need 4. This I can get for 1, and it'll allow me to build that. Now here's the problem. There's no change. So this is a 4 permit card. I could build something bigger, like, say, this or this. But I don't really want to do that. I really want the dam, and I'm looking at the next one as probably the house, if I can take both. Here, the apartments, you can give one of your planning cards to an opponent. If you do, you get control of one of that person's 1-lot buildings in an adjacent lot to what you're building. That would be kind of cool, too, to expand and get control of somebody else's stuff. That's interesting, too. Some of these others, those seem less impressive to me. Just because I couldn't build them, I'd have to pay too much. So I'm going to stick with the lower valued ones. I think I got good picks for those. Let's see if I can build that dam. This is going to cost me 3 action points, and then I have 3 more, and I could build the house. I like that idea. So how about the dam? Well, I spend the building permit, and I spend the dam, and that's 3 of my action points. I don't know where this goes. I don't think it gets rebuilt ever, so I'm just going to put it up here as sort of a discard pile for now. And now I get a 1 building next to the water. Let me put this contract out because it's got a lot of different effects. It may only be built adjacent to the water. What do I want to do? I don't have a lot of money. Ooh, I could be in trouble here. I could be in a lot of trouble here. Because adjacent to the water is 3 prestige. I would have to build it in the 1 or 2 space. Those are both adjacent to those. I'm not going to be able to do this. Well, there goes that plan. Okay. Alright, well, house it is then, right? I don't have a lot of money for the house either, but I don't need a whole lot. I would like kind of to put it in my own row, though. In particular, I want to put it so that one of my buildings gets that big 7. Beyond that, I have this house I'd like to be adjacent to for neighborhood adjacency. I could also do it down here for 4. I don't know if I want to spend 4. I'm not really concerned with collecting prestige yet, so I'm going to spend $3. And instead, this is so valuable compared to this. I can take this if I do a second one. So I'm going to spend 2 action points for this. 3 of my action points. Now I don't have a good way to mark these. I'll use a die. At least while I'm on camera, because my thinking doesn't work very well. And instead of this, I'm going to build this. And I'm going to build it here. So now, what do I get for this? I get a neighborhood bonus. 1 prestige for each adjacent building in the zone. Well, I'm pink. I go up. I'm up a prestige. Excellent. Okay. The build permit goes in the discard pile. The house has to take effect. If one of these rows has an empty wealth or prestige, I can put a 7 there. Okay, well, a 7 isn't huge right now. Maybe in the long run, but right now, I want that benefit. And I get my little pink thing on this house, little pink houses. All made of ticky-tack. Alright, and now I'm going to discard this, and I'll figure out how to handle those better probably later. I could probably put them face up underneath the deck or something, but right now that makes sense. Alright, so now I've spent a lot of time on one player's action trying to think it through, and I'm really sorry about that, but I want to get the whole turn in place, the whole player turn in place, and then I can move the active player marker. So what else? I have spent 3 of my action points. I have 3 more. I can't build the dam. I don't have much money. I have 3 more action points. This is a lot of money. On the other hand, I could take something I want, like the dam, for 2 action points and put it in my hand. Which do I want, you know? Or I could just take the apartments here, but that seems silly. I think I need cash for my next turn. I want to guarantee it, so I'm going to take this for 3 action points. Alright, that's that. Now, we're at the end of my turn. We slide the face-up planning cards down the line. And they go. And now we have to fill this space. And we've just triggered a 12 space. Well, the 12's not on the board yet. So this slides down. Not quite. We have an election. We have the election for mayor. This goes to the person with the most vocations. Well, nobody has that. The media player says, I'll take that. I think parks are probably a good thing. Although they do have their effects that may not be great. I'm going to put a park. Well, I can put it where? Anywhere adjacent No, any vacant lot. I'll take, I don't know. I have no idea why I'm doing this in particular, but I think I ought to put it next to my own stuff. I'll put a park here, and I get a little cube on it. Good, bad, I don't know. I don't know what parks are going to do for me. But I'm the mayor. That's cool. Okay. Now we flip up another one, and it's tens. Tens also can't happen. No other special effect. Now we go over here. And these also slide down in the same way. And a new one comes up on the town deck, and it has no specials on it. But we see now the dams and the apartments have become cheaper, and some of the others are coming within range. Obviously, you could grab something if it really was important to you, but I think at the start of the game it's more important to get some action moving, that there probably aren't any cards that are that important. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. I'm going to load this one up. This is just one little piece of the first round going around. Hopefully I can get the rest of the first round in another video. I'm not sure. All right, so that's Pink's turn.